Hey, what's up, everybody, man? Appreciate y'all tapping in tonight. We got Dave from Minnesota Sports Talk again. You know, this your boy RAP, Purple Pocket Podcast. Y'all already know. Hey, look, we're going to get into some stuff tonight, man. Skol live, let's Skol. You already know,
Let's
right?
go.
All right, so what
Let's
what we gonna
go.
do? What we gonna do, Dave? Let's wait for a couple people to join really quick because right now we got one viewer in, but they'll pick up. So all right, there's another viewer. Hey,
Here, I'll
appreciate
ask.
y'all.
I'll ask some. I'll ask some people. All
Yeah,
right.
just tell people to join before we start talking, so we don't have to repeat ourselves. It'll start cranking up here. It'll start cranking up
See.
here.
Send me some to this guy. Should like put on all the
Like my
fan
coffee,
clubs.
like my coffee cup.
Yeah, it's nice. Oh, I don't have my mug.
That's the Vikings mug,
Oh,
baby.
man, this thing I got back, and you appreciate this. That's my pencil holder. I got that in '98.
Oh yeah, dang. Oh, you know what I want to go get? Hold on,
I
I'll be right
have
back.
had this thing since '98.
Hold on, Dave. I'm gonna be right back. Hold on, I gotta get something to show you.
All right, yeah, this is good television, guys. Blank screen. Yeah, we're really hitting it good now. I think he's gonna. I think we're comparing memorabilia now. But we're gonna be talking about a bunch of stuff. Kirk Cousins, some things said about him, guard competition, Kellen Mond, and whatever the MCRAP has yet to offer. But let's try to get some more people on this live.
I'm just turning my camera on and off while I'm back in the room. Let go.
Yeah, he's resetting his camera. We still haven't took care of it, but we got the appropriate cable coming tomorrow. So
I gotta
we
take.
do
I
not.
gotta take
We do not.
advantage. I gotta
So
take
we shut down
advantage
the.
of my reset.
We shut down the GoFundMe page. He does not need. He just needs a new cable, and we're
I just
good.
need a new cable. It'll be here tomorrow, so we won't have to do this anymore after the night. Y'all just bear with me. What's up, McAndrews? Hey, Mr. Krabs, that my boy TJ, man. TJ, how you doing, family? He
Must be
works
nice
for
to
me.
have fans. Must be nice to have fans, man. I'm still at like 80. I got your fans in my
I just
the
call them.
fans that were your fans are now on my on my
Hey,
YouTube that
look, we
commented.
got we got some loyal
I
we got some
appreciate
loyal
that, guys.
people. We got some
Yeah, the
loyal
guys that
people
came
for
over
sure.
and asked me or made some comments on my page. I appreciate that, and
Yeah,
all
for
because I
sure.
went live with you, man. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, we got some loyal people, man. This is what I was. So this pin, I remember I told you I went up to US Bank Stadium. The time I went to US Bank Stadium when they gave away like Randy Moss cups and they gave away these pins. So it was December 16th, 2018. It's hard to see because my camera's all the way back there, but it's a pin and it says, Vikings versus Dolphins, December 16th, 2018, US Bank Stadium. Pretty cool. I had it down there, so I'm gonna pin it
Yeah, I
somewhere.
try to get one of those if I go to a game, so I can
Yeah.
put it on this little towel I got.
And I still have my Randy Moss plastic cups downstairs too that I got in 2018. They were given. I forget what the reason was, but yeah, it was something about Randy Moss at the time. I think maybe is he in the Hall of Fame yet? Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he had a
It might have
speech.
been something like that.
Yeah, I remember in '98 happening, and my girlfriend at the time, her father didn't like him,
What?
and I had and he told me that while I was wearing a Randy Moss jersey, as I'm watching the game, yeah, the NFC Championship game, tells me he doesn't like Randy Moss while I'm wearing his jersey because it was in Florida, right? So I was living in Fort Myers, Florida,
Yeah.
home of Deion Sanders. Um, and and I was in Lakeland, Florida, and I'm at their house, and I come in a Vikings jersey, and I'm gonna watch the game with them because I'm up visiting her, and
Right.
he tells me he doesn't like Randy Moss, and great, I'm not gonna marry this girl.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. All
uh,
right, so we got three people in here as of now. We'll just go ahead and start rolling, and then people will start rolling in here shortly, and we can just we'll touch back. They'll start commenting, and we'll be able to just let the fans ask us certain questions. If we got to run back through a couple things, that's fine with
yeah,
me.
we only got a few topics tonight, I think. So
Yeah.
I would
So
love to. I would love to chat with the Get the guys out there and
Yeah, we'll
girls.
do that, man. The fans will get on, and we'll be able to get the show rocking. So
When
so how do we feel? All right, so the first thing then that we're gonna talk about, Dave, is I told you I did a video on Kirk Cousins getting
that
all of
must
this
have hurt,
steam.
man. I
Yeah,
I could. You hit it very well. You're a very good actor. I felt
yeah.
I couldn't even feel the pain and anguish it made of you
Right.
to
Yeah.
make that video, and it was only like 6 minutes long, so I think it was okay. If it went on
Mhm.
to 10 minutes, I could see you just busting down and saying, "No, I made all that crap up."
Yeah. So I mean, and honestly, like you could tell in my tone that it wasn't my
I
true
saw some of
self.
the comments. I
I was
saw
sitting
some
there,
of
I was
the
sitting there like, and this is
It's
another
like
reason why he can be in the MVP conversation. All right. I'm letting you guys
this is not
know.
me telling you. This
This
is
is not
Kyle
me. This is
Brandt from Morning ES or Morning
exactly. Good morning football.
Good Morning. I love that show because they're so Viking friendly. It's the
Me
only
too.
show
And
that's
I
Viking
think
friendly.
I mean honestly, like him and Kyle, they have to be like the best of friends. Obviously, it's deeper than football for those two guys for sure. Because I mean, he sticks up for Kirk
I remember
Cousins.
Brandt calling Kirk Cousins American dad ass.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I made that one of my Twitter handles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he definitely hey, he loves him some Kirk Cousins, boy. I'm telling you
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
did you hear the story about his van?
Yeah,
His
the little travel van, right? And he bought a new one. He bought a new
Yeah,
one.
because there was an accident.
Oh, somebody hit it?
Someone yeah, there was an intersection
Uh-huh.
and the car ran it and the one car clipped it and swerved, and there was actual video of the car swerving and hitting his van, and it was so old that it was totaled. So he bought a new one, but it just looks like a newer version, a
Yeah,
conversion van, a newer version of that van. I you never see those on the streets anymore, but when
right,
back
right.
growing
Yeah,
up, I
my
was like
it's crazy.
jealous of those
My
things.
aunt had one of those vans, man. Those vans are so comfortable to travel in. I've traveled from
I
South
bet,
Carolina
man.
to New
They
Jersey
got
in
like
them things.
captain's chairs
Oh
and
yeah, they got beds in the back. I mean, the back seat goes down like a queen size bed almost. Yeah, man, those things are. I could see why he loves them. You know what I mean? Like those things ain't bad.
yeah,
But
I I'm
getting
jealous
on
of
to
his
the
van.
subject though, so I mean, we all know how you feel about Kirk Cousins. We know that you're a big Kurt fan, and there's nothing wrong with that because he is a good guy and he is a decent quarterback. Like he's okay to root for. At least we're not
I
rooting
haven't
for
bought
like
his jersey or anything.
yeah, but at least we're not rooting for like Jared Goff or nothing like that, So we are blessed in a way. We could have Jared Goff or Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the ball for us, because everybody was comparing him to Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm like,
He's
listen,
better than Jimmy. I don't know the
I gotta give him
circumstance
he's
or
better than Jimmy.
what four-leaf clovers Jimmy Garoppolo has pulled out of his ass to have such a, good winning record is beyond me, because when he plays the
There
Vikings,
we go.
he's
The presents
well,
say Kirk rocks. Kirk
he
rocks. Hey,
yeah,
we love Kirk. Hey, Dave will tell you, he really loves Kirk. I love Kirk enough where I'm gonna support him. Hey,
you're
anybody that's on the
RAP's in
Vikings,
like with Kirk.
yeah, I'm
RAP's
in
in like
like.
with Kirk.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm in the honeymoon stage. I'm not quite in love, but
What?
I'm getting
After
there.
4 years, you're only in the honeymoon stage? Wow,
Yeah,
you move slow, Dave.
I didn't become a defender of him until like the middle of last year. Other
Oh,
than that,
really?
I was like, "Oh, it's just another quarterback we've ran through our team." Like every 2
Yeah.
years we have a new quarterback.
Well, let me ask you this before we get into it too. How'd you feel about Case Keenum, man? I
Oh
was
god,
okay with
he's
Case.
so Casey Keenum is such a sweet guy. He's like
Yeah,
such
yeah,
a nice guy, and you're rooting for him. And he honestly had a better offensive coordinator, one of the best
right.
ones we'd probably had as the Vikings.
Yeah, who was the
Um,
coordinator at the time? Was it more?
our offensive line coach was alive at the time,
Yeah,
to
you were
where
saying that.
because he died that summer,
Yeah,
to
you
where
said that last show.
he worked magic with that offensive line. And one of the things that's good about Casey is that he could throw off script,
Yeah,
and he did have nice touch, to where he could throw a decent deep ball, but he
right.
threw off script, and he had to on an offensive line that we were putting together with tape.
Yeah,
So I felt he was a good fit for that team, but there were times where he struggled, And obviously, the NFC title game, he was just we were just manhandled in that game after the first series.
I know. That was crazy, man.
We
I
just
mean, we
manhandled. We
went
couldn't do
right
nothing.
down
That
we
pick
went
six,
right down and scored, you know, and then
we went right down and scored, and then we stuffed them.
yeah.
Was it? We kicked up to them. We stuffed them, but it was
Yeah,
like
but
a,
once you
a
threw that interception, that pick six,
yeah, and
it
it
was
just went
over.
downhill. He threw that
Yeah.
pick six, and we're like, oh god,
Yeah, I mean,
and we
that
just
was a
couldn't get anything
heartbreaker.
going.
I remember this game because my brother's an Eagles fan, and we were at my mother's house in the garage watching the game, and I mean, he held it on me that whole night. I try to forget about that night, man. I mean, we
But
were with the Minnesota Miracle when that happened. I
oh,
knew that we were winning the Super
oh
Bowl that
god.
year. I mean,
So
you
here
could
I
not
am.
tell me we weren't winning the
I'm
Super Bowl that
I'm watching the Minnesota Miracle. Well, we kick and make that field. They go down. They kick.
year.
They
Yeah,
get one, and then we got the ball,
yeah,
and we're thinking, oh, we got to kick a field goal. Oh, there's 10 seconds left. My screen goes blank.
yeah,
Apparently, I had like a 4-hour timer on it or something, and it goes blank when that happens. I turn on. I'm like trying to get it. I turn on the screen, and it appears in this little 3-inch box in the top left of my corner.
yeah.
But I could hear the sound, and I could hear the stadium roar, and I'm
Right.
like, Jesus, there must be a lot of Saints fans or yeah, Saints fans there.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? They must be, Saints fans. And then I was able to go widen the screen. I'm like, oh, those are Vikings in the end zone. I'm like,
yeah.
holy crap, we won. But yeah, I didn't get to see
Crazy.
the play live.
Hey,
My screen went blank.
appreciate you, Long Beach Killers, Cali, man. You know we gonna keep the Viking. Hey, you from the east side of Long Beach. Much love to you, family. Hey, yeah, you know we gonna keep that purple alive, man. We gotta keep the purple alive. That's a definite, you know. Hey, we got high hopes this year, man. This year feels different. So, hey, we appreciate you tapping in tonight for sure. We appreciate you. If y'all, hey, listen, if y'all got any questions y'all want to ask us, y'all want to control the show, hey, drop a comment, while we're talking. If there's anything y'all want to hear, if y'all want Dave to break down anybody y'all interested in and want to know a little more about the player, like I was telling y'all before, he gets really into detail and will let you know
I I
things you need to
reserve the
know.
right. I reserve the right to say no.
Yeah, he does reserve the right, depending if he likes the player or not. That's
Or
just a
if
fact.
or if I just didn't study enough on him,
Yeah,
or
but you know what? You know what? Hey,
don't
look,
ask
he
me a
works
whole
for
lot about
Google, so he
Schlottman.
knows a lot.
Don't ask me a whole lot about Schlottman,
Who is that?
but
Schlottman. Hold on a minute. Where is that? Who
backup
is that again?
center. Yeah,
Oh
the guy
yeah.
from Denver.
Yeah, the guy from Denver. I did a video when we signed our first, and because we got that tight end from the Rams too. Munt was it Munt? Yeah,
Yeah,
Munt.
Munt.
Yeah, and I was
There's
like,
that
I
one
did a video
play.
and I posted the guy's picture, the center, the Schlottman, and I'm like, and this random guy that we got, I didn't even know his name. I was just like, this random guy, because I didn't know who the hell he was.
I think it's because we got that offensive line coach from Denver. Is that? I think that's the connection.
All right, here we go.
Uh,
Here we go, Dave. Opinions on the defense. Are we taking a 180 turnaround or slightly better? Predictions. All right. So if you want me, all right. So I'll give you the answer first,
yeah, you go
Daniel.
ahead.
Hey, appreciate it, Daniel, too, for the question. So if you ask me, I think our defense is definitely gonna be. I would say maybe a step above, slightly better. I don't think we're gonna be elite yet because you got to remember we still got young guys on there that still are gonna have to learn the system. But I do think we're going to be better than last year for sure, especially in the run defense, because the run defense was horrible last year, and it seems like it was horrible the year before. So I think that's going to improve. I really like Harrison Phillips. I think he brings energy. And on that defensive line with Dalvin Tomlinson, and yeah, and then obviously Smith, having Smith out there and Hunter, as long as those fellas stay healthy, it's going to be hard to run on us. Trust me. Those guys are going to be flying over the field. So I think we will be, a step over slightly better, for sure. For sure. How you feel about it, Dave?
I think there's a. I think I'm a little more optimistic than you. Slightly
Mm-hmm.
better. I mean, we were what 28th or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
thinking we may make that. When Zimmer came the first year, we made this jump from horrible to like middle of the road 15. He was
Yeah.
able to turn around like that. I think we had enough players that were 3-4 capable. It really
Right.
depends on how Daniil Hunter fits in that 3-4 as an outside linebacker. today I was watching a video of him and Zadarius Smith playing catch and doing one-handed catches,
Yeah,
and I think it has a lot to do with them having to possibly cover people in the flat. But I think it has a lot to do with how Daniil Hunter handles that outside linebacker position. But there are just diamonds in the rough. We have not seen Jalen Twyman on the field.
yeah,
If you don't know, well, people know who Jalen Twyman is. We
right.
drafted him in like the 6th round, I think,
Yep,
and
yep.
he was a
Pittsburgh.
yeah, and he was well, so 6th round, and he got unfortunately in a shooting
Yep,
incident where he was a victim of and shot like at least 4 times, I think,
yeah,
and he said all last year. And the reason why he dropped is because when he went to the combine, he got terrible advice to bulk up to play defensive tackle.
right.
Because they're going to look at him. You want a big guy. He bulks up and had terrible numbers
Yeah.
in the combine, and that's why he fell. But you watch this guy on tape. He gets in the backfield. He pushes the pocket.
Hmm.
I seen him in the weight room on some of the Viking videos. He looks like a freaking beast, and I
Yeah.
think I think he's going to be one of my dark horse guys that play in this. That we have a couple of defensive tackles, but I think he can come in and actually be a big piece of that puzzle. But they're right now they're not playing in the OTAs. The rookies aren't
Right.
like Scene, and they're not playing with the ones yet.
Right.
So
Right.
once they get into camp and they start seeing what they can do and show what they can do in the preseason games, mix in a little bit, I think you'll see a Scene start and make a big impact. But I think Andrew Booth Jr. It won't start the season, but he will provide depth. And I think because we have so much more depth, if
Hmm.
injuries happen, we won't drop off like we have.
Right. All right. All right. So we got McAndrews. He said, sounds like they're sticking with Garrett Bradbury. What do you guys think? So me, all right, McAndrews, you've been a supporter of my channel since the beginning. You know how I feel about Garrett Bradbury. We have to get rid of him. It's either this. Now, it's either he can stay with us, but he has to be the backup. I can be okay if the starter
He
goes
would be an
down.
acceptable backup. Yeah,
Exactly. He would be perfect as a backup. If the starter goes down, we
first round
need him for
backup.
2 or 3 games. He would be amazing. Like you couldn't ask for a better backup, I would say. But as far as him starting, if we want to take the next step, I mean, it's safe to say that if we don't take the next step this year, like get over the hump for Kirk Cousins and just Kevin O'Connor, it's safe to say Garrett Bradbury can single-handedly, you know, be a lot of the reason why. And because, the offense isn't going to be able to develop if Garrett Bradbury has to block these nose tackles. I mean, they're going to be forklifting him back like they've been doing. So, I mean, if you ask me, man, he has to go or he has to move back in the depth chart for sure. How you
I
feel,
think
dude?
um yeah, I mean Bradbury's a weak spot in our line. I think his PFF grade was 60. Cole, who moved
Yeah.
on, it was like a 69, which is a borderline.
Right,
Which
right.
is almost acceptable starter slash. But Bradbury. Not to harp on PFF grades, but it kind of gives you an
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. I like PFF grades. I don't talk too much about them, but they really are,
well,
good to look at.
they're really crap on some of our linebackers. Like
Yeah.
yeah, they don't give a whole lot of love to Kendricks or anything like that. But
Which is
what
crazy, man. I feel like that guy is definitely next level linebacker.
But think of this scenario: if let's say Bradbury doesn't work out, or if he gets hurt,
Right.
I think I would love this plan B if Chris Reed um, could play center, but I don't see them looking at him at center. And then if Ingram could if Ingram can step up, our second round pick could step
Hmm.
up and play offensive guard. I think that would be a nice plan B if the Bradbury 4-year experiment doesn't
Yeah.
pan out. There's a lot, and even with Bradbury's run PFF grade, it's still just borderline starter ability, but
Right.
his passing ability is just lacking because he has no anchor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I mean, like I say, my stance is the same. I mean, Garrett Bradbury. I mean, we just cannot. We just can't do it. We just can't do it, guys. I'm sorry,
It's
we
what we're
can't.
heading to though, man.
It is, and
Because
it's crazy that they're showing him working, and being seeming like he's the guy they believe in him. Maybe Kevin O'Connell and believes that he can bring something out of him. Kevin O'Connell gives me that type of vibe where he feels like he can maybe pull certain potential out of players that he's like, you know what? It wasn't these players' fault. They just weren't coached right. He seems like that type of guy that's going to take the challenge. He wants the challenge to, get these players to a next level. So I can really see him rolling them out there on week one, honestly. And, hey, it
well, if
might
you don't
happen.
like Bradbury, you're not gonna like Austin Schlottman. He's
No.
he's
Yeah. We,
it's actually downhill. It's not good.
yeah. So what's his grade like? I mean, did you look into him at all? Do you know anything
So
about him?
he was basically a practice squad guy that stuck around
With
and got
Denver,
to play.
right? Denver?
Yeah, and got to play a
Yeah.
little bit.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, he was like a 48 and like a 52.
Yeah, we
I
can't.
don't have it right in front of me, but it
Yeah, we
was
can't
lower
do
than
it.
Bradbury's. And
Yeah.
I could not find any video on him, so that's why I said don't ask me about him.
Yeah, we
But
can't
yeah,
do it.
and then I said, well, let me listen to the interview. You listen to Chris Reed, and he's a alpha, alpha dog. Yeah, I'm out
Yeah.
there playing. This was fun. He's got a good anchor.
Right,
Um,
right.
so let's talk about offensive guard.
Yeah.
Um, so like Chris Reed is this alpha dog. Good, it looks like he's gonna be a good locker room guy. He's this no BS type of player. Good personality, interviews well, but he plays well too. And PFF grade, he's like a 66, something like that at
Uh-huh.
offensive guard. But you can see his athletic ability, I think, will fit what they're wanting to do with their run scheme. He pulls. Again, the more impressive thing is that he's got an outstanding anchor, and he'll get out in the field and down the field and hit that linebacker if he's asked to, but and he's
Right.
also has to pull. So that's great. But he's gonna be competing. I always forget his name. Jesse Davis from
Jesse
Miami.
Davis from Miami. Yep, yep.
What I've seen from him is that everybody in Miami's right about him, and they were
Yeah.
happy to see him go.
Right.
Although there was talk about how he played better as a guard for Miami, he
He
did
he
fight.
was he was pretty much Miami's Garrett Bradbury when it comes to the fan base. Like they were
They
they were
hate him
seeming
so
excited
bad.
to get him off the team. Yeah.
My friend who's a Miami fan who may be listening right now,
Yeah.
he says you guys just got the most hated offensive lineman in Miami history, and I was like,
Wow.
what about that one guy that ratted out his other players for bullying? I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
so he
Yeah.
goes, oh, number two then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so those two are apparently running with the ones at
Right.
right guard and alternating plays, and that's coming from the people watching OTAs. So right now they're looking at them, but honestly, Ingram is I think the real deal.
Yep.
I think
We
Chris
agree with
Reed.
that.
I think Chris Reed is a solid starter.
Yeah.
He's just like Cole, that he improved. Like he wasn't drafted, and he got better, and he improved.
Right,
And
right.
and he's still young.
Yeah,
He's
definitely.
still not Since not too old yet. And that's what I like about him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think Chris Reed was definitely a good pickup. I can I
Yeah, it
can
was
see him
solid.
working his way into the starting role for sure.
I
But
was
me and
like,
you
what are
both,
we doing?
we
I was like, what
agree
are we I was like,
we
what are we
agree with Ed
doing?
Ingram though.
Yeah. I was thinking, what are we doing with Schlottman and
Yeah, that
Davis? And I'm like, oh, and then we got Reed. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take it. But hey, there's a little bit of a dark horse here to make the team, and I don't think it's that much of a dark horse, and that's a Vidarian Lowe, offensive tackle, Illinois. He's a great
yeah,
story. He's a husband. He's got two young sons, and he's taken
okay.
over legal responsibilities of his 14-year-old brother. He
Wow.
he even said himself how much he's matured. He's started ever since he was a freshman at left tackle for the Illini.
Uh-huh.
Now he lacks the speed traits of a top offensive lineman. And that's probably why he fell to the 6th round.
Right,
But he's
right.
got like 35-inch arms. He's got 10.5-inch hands. This guy is one of those guys, and he's got good bend. He reads well. He blocks well. It's just he doesn't have that elite speed of those tackles. So I think this guy's our next swing tackle, and I think
Yeah,
he'll fit
yeah.
in nice. And I think for some teams he could start at right tackle. I don't see him as a guard, but I think
Mhm.
we've solved our Darisaw gets injured issue. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good fit.
All right, so we didn't really get into it too much, Dave. So let's talk. So back to the now that we talked
I
about the
want to talk about
offensive
Kirk Cousins,
line.
don't you?
Yeah, we got to talk. We got to get into it. We didn't really get to get into it. We got distracted here. All right.
Okay.
So what we need is, first of all, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna see if you had to rank Kirk Cousins, out of 32 quarterbacks. First of all, where do you rank him? You know, where do you rank him? Like, if you had to pick, is he in the middle? Is he top five? Like, where do you have Kirk Cousins right now?
Now I'm having a little bit of internet issues, so hopefully you can hear me just fine. If you can, give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, I hear you. You sound
Okay.
good to me.
All right. So yeah, you're breaking up on me, but I heard you for the most part. Now, it's a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde thing. I think a lot of people might think, and I think he wasn't necessarily in an opportunity to play what he's probably that good at. I'm screaming at the screen a lot last year, going, "Why aren't we playing um, play action anymore?" There
Yeah,
were like two
yeah,
games where we barely did a few games that we barely did play action, and everybody knows that's a lot of part of his strong suit. And who rolls out better to the left than Kirk Cousins? For a right-handed quarterback. So there's a
yeah.
lot of, and that's a pretty deceptive role. No one's expecting a right-handed quarterback to roll out to his left a lot, but he is amazing when it comes to that. But
Right.
it's a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. He can be any. I don't think he's lower than 15. And right now, I've seen people rank him at 13. I think
Look at this
fair.
comment.
s-
Look at
Oh, I
this
make him.
comment. How you
Oh,
feel
six.
about that? How you
So
feel about who Dwayne? Dwayne got him.
so
Look at where
so when
Dwayne got
that's
him.
where I'm saying Jekyll and Hyde. Mr. Hyde, he's 13, 15, but Jekyll, he's 6, or ranked 5th. Because
Yeah,
it could be week to week, but so that's why I'm saying I could average him in the top 10.
yeah.
I could easily average him a top 10 quarterback. And if there's been some certain guys that have won Super Bowls that weren't that great of a quarterback. They were just good,
Right.
so
Joe
hey,
Flacco.
Joe Flacco. He had a but he was put in a situation with something he was really good at. They had a
Yeah.
great running game, an awesome defense, and he threw a deep ball like nothing. And he had speedsters
Well,
along the
I
side.
compare. That's what I'm saying. I look at Joe, but I look at Joe Flacco's situation winning that Super Bowl. Like, that gives me hope when I think of Kirk Cousins, because if Kirk Cousins is surrounded with the defense he needs, and we have the offensive weapons. I mean, he can sit back and throw the ball. The
Yeah,
offensive line just has to protect him. If the offensive line can protect Kirk, I say he can make it into the top 10. But to me, like right now, I think he's more like, I gotta say he's in between 12 and 15 if you want. At some days, like some weeks, like y'all were saying, it's hard to name 10 quarterbacks that are better than him. Some weeks, but then there's other weeks where it's like, you know what, I can name 15 guys off the top of my head right now that I'll take over him. He's just too. It's a roller coaster ride with him. Like, yeah, I mean, he can play like an MVP guy, and then he can also play like a second string. So, well, not really second string. He's always at least good
he's
enough. I ain't gonna diss him
that's
like
what.
that. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
get too low on him. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say second string, but sometimes he just, I don't know. It's like his talent just goes out the window. Certain games, once he gets that hit and gets sacked, a little bit of pressure on him. That's the thing. Once Kurt gets startled at the beginning of the game, it's like it takes him off track. He don't know how to get back up, brush it off, and all right, you know what? Let's keep going. If a team starts putting pressure on him, he tends to hold on to the ball a lot. And that's one thing I feel like he should work on this
Well,
offseason.
well, that's what I said is that he actually improved on. If you remember,
Yeah,
like the
you said
last
that
call, I
last
said
show.
the
Yeah.
first 2 seasons that was my biggest complaint about him, and then the
Hmm.
last 2 seasons, I felt like well, my first 2 seasons was like, why doesn't this guy get rid of it if he just eats it? And
Yeah.
then these past 2 years, I don't think like it's been that way. Who knows? Maybe he does it more than other people. I just really just watched the Vikings on Sunday, and I didn't
Yeah.
care. But now I'm like more interested in the league.
Yeah.
But so with Kirk Cousins, there it's you mentioned that clean pocket. I'm gonna use the word clean
TJ.
pocket. So
TJ.
there's been a stat that says he's the number one quarterback rating if there's a clean pocket, and
Right.
he falls dramatically when there's not a clean pocket. And that's why I get on him, as though I think the limited aspect of his game is throwing off script,
Yeah.
and that's where it sets him apart,
Right.
or set
Yeah.
some other quarterbacks apart and keeps him down where
Right.
he's at. But
Right.
we're gonna talk about what was said on the NFL morning show.
Yeah.
Football, Good
So
Morning Football. Yeah.
yeah, Good Morning Football. I mean they believe that Kirk Cousins is a dark horse. And if y'all go back and y'all watch my video, the thumbnail will tell it all. I got a dark horse over
The
in the
6-minute
corner.
love story of
Yeah, the 6 minute love
RAP and Kirk
story.
Cousins.
Y'all go watch that. Me and Kirk Cousins just getting our bond.
You could
We're
see the
bonding.
you could see the hearts coming out of his.
Hey, we're bonding. That was my bonding time with Kirk Cousins, because that is my guy, man. I love Kirk to the death. But they're saying he's a
This is
dark
being
horse.
recorded, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's being recorded. It's gonna be
Okay.
out there, man. Kurt, if you see this,
I
man, hey,
this.
you're my guy, man. I'm riding with you. Hey, look, but they had him as a dark horse. Hold on, be right
Okay.
back.
So we're still working with the 30-minute cutout on his camera until he gets his cable tomorrow to fix this issue. But so if you just joined, we're talking about Kirk Cousins and the NFL morning, Good Morning
GoFundMe,
Football.
GoFundMe. Make sure
Yeah,
you GoFundMe.
we're talking about I think Kyle Brandt, one of the
Yeah, Kyle
hosts
Brandt.
of
Yep.
Good Morning Football, saying that he thinks Kirk Cousins is a dark horse MVP candidate.
Yeah.
So what would make an MVP candidate does not mean you're the best quarterback in the league, right? It
Right.
doesn't mean you're the best player in the league. It almost means like you were the most valuable player because you took your team where it wasn't where normally wouldn't be probably capable of going. And if you look at the past 4 years, this was not the first time anybody said that
Yeah.
during the season. I want to say 2018 when he had two 400-yard games, 4 games in the season. And then 2000, that soon was disappeared because they
Yeah.
just went on this streak of terribleness on offense in the middle of the season. But in 2019, he brought us out of the doldrums a little bit, have his winning record, and then Thielen gets hurt. There it goes. There goes the MVP talk there. 2020, he started out 2 bad games as the the BC Johnson's his second receiver. Thielen's not getting it. Not he's struggling at quarterback. Well, then Justin Jefferson comes in. Thielen and Justin Jefferson become two 1,000-yard receivers. He starts going on this tear. There he wins 5 out of 6 games. They're talking about MVP because he's bringing them back into playoff contention. Then he struggles. He struggles for a couple games. There it goes.
Right.
Last year, I I was hearing talk about him being middle of the season because he was just willing us to victory on a couple occasions in the fourth quarter where he came in and made these comebacks, but only get disappointed by a fumble or a missed field goal or his defense giving up a late touchdown. He
Yeah.
was he was being talked about MVP, but we weren't a playoff team, right? So there's no, and he did struggle in a couple of games but a couple of those were victories. So yeah, it's not the first time we've heard this, honestly.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. Kirk Cousins, I gotta say, even I think even the 2019 season, I feel like they were
Yeah,
talking about it as well, of him being somebody that everybody's sleeping on. And the main another reason is too because just the Vikings as a whole, we get slept on. I mean, we can be, 13-3 or
we're the
whatever, and
Rodney Dangerfield of NFL football.
yes, like I mean,
Quote
like literally,
quote me.
we can start the season out 8-0,
No respect.
and they'll still talk about the Dallas Cowboys. If even if they're like 4-4, and it's just like, oh, but the Dallas Cowboys still have a chance to win the Super Bowl. I mean, we got to literally do the most just to get a little bit of respect, and this is
Even in
another.
Minnesota media.
Hey, look, and that's why, and what's crazy, guys, everybody that's tapped in, this was another reason that encouraged me to start a YouTube. I'm sick of everybody disrespecting the purple. I'm out here. We're gonna spread the message. Quit playing with us, okay? Because we are the real deal, and we're gonna show them exactly Dallas who we going. And during the season, I got a Dallas fan that is a content creator, and we're gonna get them on here when we play them. And yeah, we gonna bury him. When we're gonna get him on here and we're gonna bury him. Me and Dave are gonna be up top. We're gonna have him on the bottom right there. He's gonna be live with us. I already got it set up for when we play Dallas. We're gonna do a post game, and we're gonna bury him after the game. We're gonna make him feel it. All right. So y'all definitely make sure y'all tapped in that day. All right. But yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins again. I mean, yeah, I'm behind him. I think he can. I really do. I think he can, guys. I'm genuinely like feel like that. I really do. I just think he has so many factors playing in his favor. But and this is what I stated in my video, just by the coach, him and Kevin O'Connell having a friendship, it makes me feel like he actually is the one who pulled the string to get Kevin O'Connell hired in Minnesota.
He spoke up for him. There
Yeah,
was reporting on that he spoke up
yeah,
for him, and people were like, why isn't Kirk Cousins being a leader and coming out and talking about Spielman and Zimmer? I'm like, he is being a leader. You're not
yeah,
going to trash the old team. What does that make you look like? Just makes you look like a jealous girlfriend.
yeah,
So Kirk Cousins saying nothing, and what I give a lot of credit to is the ownership bringing in the veterans like Thielen and those guys. The receivers spoke up for Keenan McCardle, right?
right, yeah, yeah,
The receiver coach, Kirk Cousins says, "Hey, he's the real deal, Connell."
yeah,
So I mean, he was being a leader behind that. And if you didn't notice, when he was working with KJ Osborne and Thielen at
uh-huh,
the in the practice facility during the off season, and
yeah,
I think it was Zadarius Smith showed up and saw Kirk Cousins out on the field with Thielen and KJ Osborne, and that was one of the things he pointed to of coming to Minnesota, thinking that he was the real deal. Honestly, I think he was coming anyways, but
yeah,
he
yeah,
pointed that out, and he really respected that.
yeah, yeah, definitely,
But
definitely.
hey, so what's the point? What gives him the favor of being considered a dark horse MVP candidate? I think it's the offense coming up. There
Right.
is talk about them running hurry up, and I don't care what anybody thinks because they would be lying that when we went no huddle when we needed to,
We
we
moved the
moved the
ball.
ball. And
Yeah.
if we did that, and I'm like, why aren't we doing that all game? Why? Because Zimmer thinks if we go 3 and out, his defense will get tired.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, we need to. If we our defense isn't good enough, we need to put because their defense can get tired, right? Put the pedal to the metal, keep the gas going, and
Yeah.
keep moving it down the field. And we have the depth of any team in the NFL. We have the depth at running back and the depth at receiver to
Uh-huh.
pull that off to where we can run 3-4 receivers all the time, run no huddle or hurry up. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be no huddle. It could just be hurry up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And so, I mean, so now this is going to carry into this. Okay, so we know Kirk Cousins is the guy. We believe in him. We got a feeling again that he definitely should be in the conversation, or he could be in the conversation. Now let's talk about the person that's behind him. Now we're gonna leave Sean Mannion out of this. All right,
Yeah, who's
for the
Sean
sake
Mannion?
of this video, do not mention Sean Mannion after this because we are gonna leave.
Sean Mannion.
He needs to be on the sideline with a clipboard or with
He
the Microsoft
Kirk
Surface, it
Cousins'
needs to be
caddy.
helping Kirk Cousins. All
I
right.
made the joke that does when Kirk and Thielen are out playing golf, does he bring
Yeah.
Sean Mannion to hold his clubs
Listen,
for him?
he does not need to be rolled out on the I don't care. All right. And the good thing is it looks like he's not gonna be getting rolled out on the field if something, God forbid, does happen to Kirk. Because
They're
why?
giving my yeah. Go ahead.
Kellen Mond is getting fair look now. So how do you feel about that, Dave? I mean, did you even like him when we drafted him last year? I mean, were you excited about drafting Mond? I mean, I watched him in college and he seemed like he can play. He played good competition, running pro style
Right?
offenses and stuff. So I mean, what do you feel about Kellen Mond?
I think he's their all-time passing leader now, right?
Yeah,
That's his
and
name.
he beat did he beat Alabama or he gave Alabama a run for their money?
That
I
was
know
his
that. I don't
best
know if he
game, I
beat him.
think. If I
Yeah.
remember right, he played like really well against Alabama. I
Eh,
don't remember them beating them though.
Yeah, I don't think they beat him, but they gave him a run. And the good thing, another good thing before you give us your take on it, if you look at Kellen Mond's college career, every single year he elevated. That just shows something about his character. Every year he got better and better and better and better. So, I feel like it's going to be the same thing with the NFL. He's going to just keep getting better until he's that guy. I mean, if you want my opinion, I think Kellen Mond is our future quarterback. How do you feel, Dave?
So I think there's opportunity there.
Yeah.
So if Kirk Cousins signs another extension, Kellen Mond most likely won't be on our team because he'll look to try to find another opportunity somewhere. He'd be out of contract. What, do you only get 4 years for
Yeah.
a third round pick? So you don't got a 5th year extension like a first rounder.
Right,
So
right.
if so, it's almost like we better we should hope
Yeah.
that Kellen Mond doesn't play and he does leave our team for greener pastures, because that means Kirk Cousins played well enough to where we kept him until he was
Yeah.
38 or whatever age
Yeah.
he'll be at the end of a next extension. So I'm in my aspect is I'm hoping Kellen Mond never sees the field because
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is playing that well. But I like him for the fact that, hey, he's better than who shall not be named. He told me not to call him his
Yeah.
name anymore, Sean
Yeah.
Mannion.
Don't.
So
But
he who
hey,
shall not be named.
surprisingly though, you see who's still on the team? When I looked at
Oh
the depth
yeah,
chart,
Nate Stanley.
oh my, I mean, like really? Like, I mean, what is going on with that? I
Why don't
mean,
they just ask Smith Marset if what he thinks of Nate Stanley? Let's
I
say,
mean,
yeah, I don't like him. Okay, he's
yeah,
off the team because
yeah,
that's who
but
his quarterback was, and he was held. Well, I blame the offense.
yeah.
At Iowa, they were running offense, and he was just on the wrong
It
team.
was
Smith
Missouri. Then they
Marset,
go to Mizzou. I thought it was Mizzou.
Smith Marset, it's
Yeah, wasn't
Iowa,
it
right?
Mizzou? Oh, it was Iowa. Yeah, you're right. It
It's
was
Iowa.
Iowa. Yeah, it was Iowa. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, and he's my breakout candidate this year for
Yeah,
offense.
yeah,
Um, it would be, because he'll get a lot more opportunity because we'll be running no huddle and we'll have a 3-4 offense. But not to get
right.
out of topic, with Kellen Mond, Nate Stanley, he probably doesn't make the team
Yeah.
because I think we would only keep 3 quarterbacks. Maybe they keep him as a on the
Practice squad.
practice squad. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to take him.
Yeah, no.
I think we keep 3 quarterbacks, but not only 2 on active roster. And
Yeah.
he who shall not be named, will be holding the clipboard because he could still be on the field, holding the clipboard. He doesn't have to play. So the thing that stands out so far this year is that Kevin O'Connell's talking about how he was expecting to have to tell Kellen Mond, okay, when you're on this play, you're gonna look at this, and you need to
Yeah.
look at this. But Kellen Mond picked it up and didn't even have to coach him on certain plays that he
Right.
thought he was gonna have to. So
Yeah.
it really shows that, hey, Kellen Mond is picking it up, and Kevin O'Connell is trusting him. And from every report that's coming out of OTAs, he's surprising them. What do you think? And then I'll talk about what I think of him as an actual football player.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I mean, like you said, it's kind of okay, so I want to win this year. So, obviously with that being said, we need Kirk Cousins on the field. So, do I
Yeah,
want to see him hit the field this year? No. TJ, hey, my boy TJ asking who shall not be named. He
Sean
being funny.
Mannion. Sean
Sean
Mannion is
Mannion, all right? Sean
oh,
Mannion. He needs to
he
stay
who
where
shall
he
not
at.
be named.
Quit mentioning Sean Mannion. He who shall not be named. All right. But yeah, so I mean, like that's like you said, I don't want to see Kellen Mond on the field this year only because of the reason where, our chances of getting as far as we can obviously comes in the arm of Kirk Cousins. It's going to come with the arm of Kirk Cousins. But I mean, as far as future, because you got to think next year's draft is going to be very quarterback heavy. I think it's going to be similar to last year's draft with the Trevor Lawrences and all that. There's going to be a couple quarterbacks like we talked about the last show that are going to go, up there in the top picks. And I mean, we'll have a decision to make because there's also a possibility, and we gotta feel like this, not to be negative, but we have to realize there's a possibility that Kevin O'Connell gets out there and it gets over his head and didn't realize, like, hey, look, being this offensive, head coach is a little harder than I thought. It's not working how I thought it would work. Sometimes your vision doesn't come together. So we have to keep that in mind. And if that happens and Kirk Cousins does happen to struggle and they have their bumps in the road, I think that we might even go for another quarterback in the draft, that one of these, potential franchise quarterbacks. Because, it's always up in the air when you're picking these quarterbacks. But I mean, Kellen Mond, like, to get back on Kellen Mond, I like him. Seems like a good guy, genuine guy, and I don't mind watching him play during the preseason just to see how he does. And if Kurt happens to go down, as long as he's getting rolled out and not Sean Mannion, that's how I feel about it. So
So I mean, I went and looked back at his preseason highlights, I guess you could call it.
yeah,
He can throw off script. He throws that sidearm when he has to. He actually made a couple really good decisions to run when nothing was there, and he kind of anticipated it. So he
yeah,
anticipated and was able to get that play. He's athletic enough to get downfield.
mm,
I In college it shows up a lot where he outran people, and he could show his athletic ability there. He did throw off script in college. What I didn't like about him was he was a little antsy in the pocket with his feet,
yeah,
to where he was jumping around, and that can't happen in the pros. It just doesn't work well when you see quarterbacks jumping around in there. It's no good.
right,
Their eyes aren't downfield. But I don't think that's a huge problem for him. That was one of the first things I looked for last year or the last time when we drafted him, is that, hey, I mean, is he looking downfield on his plays? And Chris Ponder was like that. His eyes weren't downfield. He
yeah,
was he
yeah,
was looking at, oh my God, who's gonna get me? And that's that's what I'd be worried about with a quarterback. But he's tall. He's got a good arm. Honestly, it's a quicker release for looking like a guy as lanky as he is. You'd think he'd have this long ass release. I don't think he has that. So I
hmm,
was looking at when he was drafted, and that's why I thought it was a good pick in the third round and worth it. Was that he had a quick enough release. He
hmm,
was athletic. His arm was strong enough, and he was mobile. Only thing I didn't like about him was probably, he just looked a little antsy in the pocket a little bit. The production was good, but not great.
right,
Texas A&M's known for guys that just throwing the ball over the place with 40 touchdowns. He was, in the 20s or whatever. So I didn't get to watch him a lot in live games. I only got to watch highlights of him. But
yeah,
what I've seen is that he was worth the third round pick. And what I hear from him now is that he's a smart, intelligent guy that's picking up the play. And I think he has a personality of an alpha dog at
yeah,
quarterback. So I think that will take him a ways too. And I think people like him. And it's like he was like you put baby in a closet type thing. We just never got to see him as like
yeah,
with the flowers in the attic. I don't know if you know that movie or book, but you just kept the little kids in the closet because you didn't want anybody to see them and fall in love with them, or keep you from getting married. Terrible analogy, but if you've ever seen flowers in the attic, that's my impression, is that we just kept him in the attic and no
yeah.
one and we didn't want anybody to see him.
Almost like Wyatt Davis, getting on him. I mean, those two were in the same boat, it seems like last year in a way, with
This guy
Wyatt
says
Davis.
Mannion will be third string
Yeah,
QB.
Mannion will be
Yeah,
third string.
agreed.
You
We
know,
agree.
And then
He
and
should
then
be.
and
He
then
should be.
yeah, Dwayne here says, look at Brad Johnson. He won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. They had the number one D back then. So,
He's
you
also
know,
on TikTok. He's a trick shot artist. You should check it out. Brad Johnson.
yeah,
Big bad Brad here. Big
yeah.
bad Brad here. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, and that's true right there. That yes, they did do that
Who was our starting quarterback in '98
and
to
98
start the season?
was it hold on, don't tell me yet. Hold on. 98
Brad Johnson.
was it Brad Johnson for real?
He got hurt and Randall Cunningham took over.
Okay, because that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say Randall, but I'm like, hold on a
It
minute.
was a trick
I don't want to
question. I
sound
mean, we're talking about
crazy.
Brad Johnson. So yeah, he was our starting quarterback.
Hey,
Yeah,
look,
he
I've
was
been
a
a fan. I've been a fan since 1999, but you got to realize I was also 10 years old, just loving the team, watching it. But
and
I didn't know
he
those
didn't
guys.
start at all in college.
Yeah.
He didn't
Wow.
start. He wasn't a starting quarterback in college when he got. I don't. Did we draft? I think we drafted him, but like seventh, like late. I don't know if we had 9 picks back then. I think it might have been
Yeah.
as deep as 9. And I do think we drafted him, but it was really late. And he ended up being our starting quarterback. And he goes and wins the Super Bowl for Tampa, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he had a great defense in Tampa at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so we appreciate everybody that's tapped in right now. Hey, y'all make sure y'all go follow Dave at Minnesota Sports Talk. The people that are just entering the room. If y'all haven't, make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel. Minnesota content, another content creator in the Minnesota Vikings community. Y'all make sure y'all go there. Also with a splash of some baseball if y'all are into the Twins. He covers them. I'm not sure, Dave. Do you cover the Wild and the
I
Timberwolves
have
every once in a while,
I
or?
haven't done Wild or Timberwolves. I'm not a big hockey guy because when
Yeah,
I grew up, we didn't have hockey where I
right.
was I was in South Dakota. For some reason, we didn't have hockey when I grew up.
Wow. I thought
But
hockey was
we
big
do
up there
now.
in those. I
In
thought
North
hockey was
Dakota and
big in those areas.
Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
North Dakota, Minnesota, but yeah,
Uh,
now they have hockey. I had a niece playing the state tournament a couple years ago.
oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, y'all make sure y'all go there and subscribe to his channel. Definitely, man. Yeah, so this is the thing too. I feel like we're gonna go. All right, so when we did the last show, I know we were getting into the schedule and then we kind of got sidetracked, right? But we don't have to go through the whole schedule. Let's just what games are you excited to see this season? Like what games really pop out to you as far as hey, this is a must watch or must win game. This is going to be a challenge to me. I know the Bills. I feel like the Bills are our biggest challenge on the schedule. If we can go into Buffalo and beat the Bills, that's going to be a statement game. That's my game that I have circled on the schedule that I'm going to be up and ready and hope we win this game. If we win this game, it's definitely going to be a statement win for us. So how do you feel about the schedule? Like what game pops out to you, Dave?
So obviously the first one, the Green Bay Packers, I think that's going to set the tone for everybody. Everybody's going to be like completely worried if we lose and the
Yeah.
uh, everything's on fire. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the first game of the year is the big one, honestly. And we don't play them till like week second to last week, if I'm
Yeah,
not
we play
mistaken.
we play him. Yep. Yep, it'll be the second to last week. Yeah.
But yeah, Buffalo for pure entertainment, and honestly, you get you know, yeah, just the whole Diggs playing against Diggs kind of thing, and
Yeah.
uh that
What's
that
up,
game.
Dash? What's up, Dash? That
Oh, and
I
then
we just had
the Patriots. I like to see
Patriots.
us play. I like to see us play the Patriots,
And
and
that's Thanksgiving, right? That's Thanksgiving.
anytime yeah, that's gonna be cool. We got like
So
a
how?
year.
But now that you mentioned that game, how did they come up with that? Like, what was? I wonder how the NFL looked at that and said, you know what, we're gonna do the Vikings and the Patriots Thanksgiving night. Like, do we have? What's the history there? Are you familiar with any history? I don't. I mean, it just to me, it just seemed like a weird game to be Vikings versus Patriots.
So, do you know that this is a funny story? Did you know? Okay, I don't know what exact year it was, but it was the year. So, um, we so Les Steckel is gonna be our coach.
Uh-huh.
right? And they're interviewing for defensive coordinator,
Yeah.
and we were set to hire Bill Belichick.
Mhm.
We were gonna hire Bill. We offered him the job. He gets a text, or no, they don't have text back then, but he gets a call saying, "Hey, did you know that like there's word out there that they're just using Les Steckel as a placeholder just to get through the season?" And he goes to the and this was a documentary, and he said this. This is Bill Belichick talking. That
Yeah.
he says, "Hey, let me just give the night to sleep on it." And he calls them from the airport saying he's not taking the job. He ends up being
Wow.
defensive coordinator for, the Giants, I don't know if it was that exact year or eventually, and then gets carried off the field in the Super Bowl. They carried off the defensive coordinator in the Super Bowl. Why?
Wow.
Because they won because of their defense. It wasn't because of Phil Simms.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's Bill Belichick. We almost had him.
So there's a little something there, I guess, huh?
But
There's a little
no,
something
that is not why they decide to
there.
put it on Thanksgiving, but that's just a little tidbit.
It's just weird. Like I can see like Dallas, they should have like lined us versus Dallas, or us versus the Saints always seems like it's a Christmas game or
Oh, we mean
Thanksgiving,
we played the Lions, we played Dallas on
Uh,
Thanksgiving. I think it's because we're willing to play on Thanksgiving
yeah,
that we've
yeah,
been more willing to do it.
yeah.
That they and I think they'll go to us and ask because of that. That's probably what it is. They're not going to get a complaint from us or whatever.
So
But
yeah,
yeah, I
Dash.
don't know why that matchup, but I think it's because we're two playoff caliber teams
Yeah,
that we're not like front runners coming into the season where they're gonna like say, "Oh, the Chiefs, we're gonna put you on Thanksgiving." And we go, "Why would you do that? It's a Thursday."
yeah,
It's so I think they'll take a good matchup of potentially good teams just because they don't want the Lions play every every
yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so Dash, Dave was just telling the story. Yeah, he got a phone call and
Yeah, he
he
got
stiffed
inside.
us. He stiffed
This
us.
is Bill Belichick saying you could probably find it on YouTube somewhere.
Maybe that's why Adam Thielen was cursing him out that year when we played him back in what I think that was
Oh yeah,
18 or
I remember
17.
that. Yeah, he was on the
Yeah.
sidelines and
Maybe that's why he was
he
cursing him out, like you mother effer, you didn't take the job when we called you back in the day.
But yeah, that was, Les Steckel was our head coach, and we almost had Bill Belichick as our defensive coordinator.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, let's see. Hold on. Let me see what I got here. Let's see if there's any more comments up here to pin. All right, all right, so now let's talk about the duo. I don't really think we got into detail either. Like we're freestyling this, guys. I'm good at just freestyling. I love
Yeah,
talking about the
we're
Vikings.
past
Yeah.
the script now.
Yeah, we're past the script plays. Like last year, how when
We're throwing off script.
all the script plays were perfect, we go right down the field and score a touchdown. I mean, we're the best team in the NFL with the
We're the
scripted
Patrick
plays.
Mahomes of, talk
Yeah.
shows right now. We're going off
Yeah,
script.
but once the scripted plays are out the window, I mean, we're just winging it. We're run, pass, punt, run, pass. You know how it goes. But no, we're better than that. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna doubt ourselves. But let's talk about the duo. So I seen a picture today about Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison potentially being the best running back duo in the NFL this year. And I have to almost say I agree. We did touch
They
on it a
haven't
little bit
been.
on the last show. I
They
feel like they
haven't
have.
been the best running back duo.
I feel like they have because, like you said last show, because we touched on it a little bit. Alexander Madison comes in, and I had him on my fantasy. You were saying that. Make sure you get him on your fantasy this year if y'all don't, because you're gonna regret it. Because you're right. When he comes in, he definitely just pretty. He's not as shifty as Dalvin, but he has a little more power and he can fight for those extra yards that Dalvin usually doesn't fight for. But so that they got their pros and cons with each other. Dalvin's definitely, I feel like a notch better all around running
Because
back.
of the speed.
Yeah, because of his speed and stuff
And
like that.
he's more open
He has a
field.
little better. He has better vision too. His vision of finding the holes. I think Madison tends to run, east and west sometimes a little too much, where he needs to run more north and south because he is a big, powerful back. I think he needs once he learns that, hey, I'm a strong guy and I'm hard to bring down. Maybe he'll start running more, north and south and just trampling dudes over. Because when he does do it, it happens. He's running guys over hugging
Cook's a
him.
one cut and go.
I'm telling
Um,
you, isn't it weird that Cook he's not really like, I don't call what he does jukes. It's almost like he
no,
just like,
he just runs past you, and
yeah,
he's not afraid of contact. You think he's a little guy, but he's not. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
he's
Yeah,
solidly built.
he's a pretty big.
He's a
All right,
little injury
McAndrews,
prone,
man.
but yeah,
Appreciate it, McAndrews. Make sure you tune in again, man. You know you'll know when we're on here again.
and he played
Appreciate
hurt
you
for us.
always supporting, man. Appreciate you, McAndrews, always supporting for sure. For sure. You a top supporter, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, I mean, I Dash, appreciate you. Thanks for tapping in for sure. Thanks for tapping in. But yeah, we got I mean, so I mean, do you think that we have like the best duo? I mean, I'm just gonna say, yeah, this is a simple question.
I think
Like we don't
consistently we've
even
had it ever since we drafted Madison. I just think
Yeah, because I try to think about other teams and who has, the two-headed monster. Now I gotta say, the Patriots didn't look bad with those fellas they had last year. I mean, they were swapping them out. I can't really remember their name, but they remember that game against the Bills when they played the Bills and they what like Daniel Jones. I mean, Mac Jones threw like what 10 times
we're going
maybe.
off script. I wasn't watching Patriots games.
Yeah, I remember, but I'm saying he
I'll
was.
leave that one to
I'm
you.
just Yeah, there was a game. There was a game with the Patriots and Bills last year, and they destroyed the Bills because they ran the ball over and over and over, and the Bills just couldn't stop them. And those two running backs were killing it. And I feel like those are things we can do with Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison. But there's a guy in the cut that I love, and that's King Kene. I feel like Kene Nwangu is a future star to see him on the field. That's the one thing this year. I want to see Kevin O'Connell incorporate some plays with this guy. You know, this guy is something serious. Okay, I've never heard you give an input on Kene and how you really feel about him. So,
I did a, I did a, when I did my review, Ty Chandler on draft review, I talked about Kenny Nwangu. Not
yeah,
a whole lot in depth, but I also probably something you're not, you may not like is that I considered Alexander Madison a draft or a trade candidate because he's at the last year of his contract
right.
and will not be on our team next year, most
Yeah,
likely, unless Cook dies or
yeah.
if something really bad happens to him.
Hold
Oh
on.
yeah,
Just keep
we're
telling
gonna
him.
reach.
Keep telling him.
So so with Alexander Madison, a possible trade candidate, I'm not the first person to ever say this because of the end of his contract and because we didn't this this our head office did not draft him, so there's no serious loyalty to Alexander Madison
Right.
that he would be a trade candidate, and it'd be a potentially smart business move because running backs have been a dime a dozen lately,
Uh-huh.
and that we drafted a Ty Chandler who I considered one of the three biggest value picks of our draft because
Uh-huh.
he can catch out of the backfield. He's got good vision.
Yeah.
He's got 4.3 something speed. Now, I may differ from you on Kenny Nwangu being a future star.
Uh-oh.
I don't think he's has been a fit in the running offense, and I
Right.
think our coaches are smart enough to adapt an offense to fit him.
Yeah.
But if you saw him hit the field and he was given the ball, it was
Yeah.
either I think it was a detriment to him because I think they put him in the game to give him the ball.
Yeah.
And I think the defense knows this
Yeah.
and we're able to stuff him. So he wasn't given a good opportunity because they
Right.
were like,
Right.
okay, we want to use Kenny Nwangu more. Let's get him on the field. Oh, they're going to give
Yeah.
it to him on this play. And I
Yeah.
think that is what I felt. But I don't know anything about his third down blocking ability, honestly.
Right.
And
Yeah, you haven't really did a deep dive on
I have
him
no
to
idea of what he
yeah,
would be on third down or whatever, or how well he could catch. He was not asked to do that at Iowa State.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I just looked at it from what he did on special teams with the two run backs and stuff. I
Oh
just
yeah,
think
he's
he has really good
exciting.
vision. Yeah, he has really good vision and speed, and I feel like why not? Running some jet sweeps with him and stuff. I mean, it won't hurt. But like you said, we also can't be predictable with like you said, if he's in, obviously the defense knows like, oh, here comes Kene running out here. Obviously, they're gonna try to get him the ball. But I like you said as well, too. I think I think our coaching staff is smarter this year and would know how to, throw other teams off. Like, just because he's coming out there don't mean he's going to get the ball. But I mean, I think they can use his speed, man. I
Yeah.
mean, they can use his speed and his vision. You get him in open space, and it can go to the house at any moment. For sure. It can go to the house at any moment. So we got
Well,
Wes Phillips.
if Cook's lining up on on a bunch set and they put Kenny Nwango at tailback, there's a now that's unpredictable.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
that's a potential to happen. I think Madison's still a better running back, and it's all about trust. And
Right. Right.
there's guys that didn't make the field, and that was the biggest detriment of Adrian Peterson. He was a terrible pass blocker. He he
Yeah.
would get
He
he would get
was. He
he was such
was.
a big guy and so strong, and he could not block for crap. And
I'm
that's
telling you.
and that was a predictable thing about him. And you wanted him to be on third down. And his first touchdown in the NFL was a swing pass that he bobbled and got it and then went 50 yards for a touchdown. So you're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, if it's going to be like this is going to be great. And then he got 100,
Yeah.
he got 100, 200 yards receiving a season. But yeah, that's my take on that. I just don't think Kenny Nwangu was used properly, and it was just a detriment of being our predictable offense. And we have so
Yeah.
much talent if we stop being predictable. And I forget what Kevin O'Connell says about it, but they have a word for what they're. And I wish I could remember what he says, but it's a way that they confuse the defense, but not be too complicated. And
Yeah.
if anybody remembers what O'Connell says, type it in there. But he has a word for it, and the Rams have a word for it, and he got it from
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll make sure. I'll make
the
sure I'll leave it
Wilfkings.
down there.
Go dual threat quarterback with Cousins and Mon running the Wildcat. Like the Aints did with Breeze and T Hill running back strap. Yeah. I don't think that's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen only
We're
because
gonna run the wishbone.
yeah, I don't know. And yeah, I just don't know C-wise if I just don't know if Kellen Mond. Well, I think I do know for a fact that Kellen Mond just doesn't seem like that type of quarterback. We obviously know Cousins ain't you ain't putting Cousins in there to run that. So yeah, Kellen Mond, I don't know if he's that type of guy. I feel like he's definitely not that type of guy, honestly. He's a quarterback. I feel like he's gonna do good at just playing
Yeah,
traditional quarterback.
I don't think he's one of
Okay.
those you know, I don't think we're gonna run the option or read
Yeah, like
option with
he has
Kellen.
speed and
I think
stuff,
he
but
can, but I don't think we're gonna run the read option.
yeah, I don't think he wants to get hit too much. That guy Hill,
He's a frail guy.
yeah,
He's
he
not
is.
built. He doesn't look any bigger than he did when he got drafted. He's
Yeah,
not a small guy. He's tall, but he's lanky, and
yeah,
I don't think we
yeah,
want him running the ball too much.
yeah. Tyson Hill is just a different type of
He's
breed. I
not
mean,
Tyson
that
Hill,
guy.
no.
Well, yeah, that guy
Oh
can
God.
play fullback, tight end, quarterback, running back. Like, I mean, that guy's just
And the
he's
only
a
reason I
different guy.
think we won that Saints game in that playoff in 2019
Yeah,
was because Tyson Hill, they were putting him in there and he was just getting 10 yards of carry and he got hurt. I think, yeah, he
I
got
gotta share
hurt
that
and
though.
then
That's funny.
he didn't finish the game and they lost that ability. So this is the only reason we held on to that victory and won in overtime.
All right, Dash. Appreciate you. Appreciate you tapping in tonight, Dash, for
Hey
sure.
guys,
Good night. Good night.
and we haven't told anybody to go to my Minnesota Sports Talk. I
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
go to
definitely.
Minnesota Sports Talk. Go subscribe. I spent an hour
Yeah,
and I
go
haven't even
subscribe.
plugged my show.
Yeah, we plugged it. We plugged it at the beginning. We
Oh, yeah.
definitely plugged it. I
Minnesota
told
Sports Talk.
people, yeah, I told people, but definitely go there. Definitely go there and subscribe for sure. And trying to get both of us to 1,000 subscribers before the season start. Because once the
Yep.
season start, it's gonna ramp up, man. We gonna be having so much fun. I'm gonna try to incorporate giveaways, all type of stuff. I just want the fans to come to this channel, go to Dave's channel, and interact. And we're gonna make things happen. The more you guys contribute as far as showing up to the shows, and commenting and giving your advice and just giving your input on things, the better our show can get. and we'll definitely keep elevating from here. You know, I mean, right now it is what it is. We bringing y'all content, telling y'all how we feel, and we appreciate it. You know, hey, tonight, you know, we've been on for an hour and 10 minutes, Dave. We talked about a couple good things. We're gonna do this again Sunday. Hopefully, if you got time Sunday, we can
Little
come back
iffy.
in.
I don't know where I'm gonna be.
Oh yeah, that's right. You
We
said
had
you
we
might
had
not have
planned to
the
be out of
weekend.
we had planned to be out of town, but I'll
Yeah.
let you know.
But what we'll do is, you know, throughout the week, me and you will get together and we'll really we'll really get a list of really good topics that we can really dive deep. Tonight, we kind of just had a couple of things we wanted to talk about, freestyle a couple of things. We see people are getting off now, got to go to bed. I'm with you. But before we go, man, I just want to, you know, send my condolences out to the family and this. You know, I don't want to make this a political thing, but I do want to send my condolences out to those families in Texas where these kids, you know, lost their life. It's a shame that we keep going through these type of situations, but you know, my prayers, family, my wife, my kids, we're all praying for those families, and we hope everything, you know, we hope God heals them. You know, at the end of the day, it's a sad situation, but you know, everybody keep them in your prayers. Yeah, I just wanted to at least say that tonight during the show, and just let those families know that I'm thinking about them for sure, and they in our hearts. You know, it's devastating, but yeah. I mean, what we can do, Dave, is on we'll me and you will just communicate off stream, and we'll figure out the next show. And you know, we appreciate everybody tapping in. The people out of here, just make sure y'all go subscribe to Minnesota Sports Talk with Dave, and he got some good content over there. Please go subscribe to him. We trying to get to where we need to get to bring y'all better content. Let me see.
I talk about our wide receiver depth chart. I posted that today.
Yeah. Really in-depth video. I watched honestly, I was at work. I watched about 20 minutes of it. Yeah, I watched like 20 minutes of it, and then I got sidetracked at work. But I mean, you were breaking it down.
Probably.
I'll finish. To be honest, I'll finish it tonight. After this, because I'll go lay down and watch this. Hey, but appreciate y'all. Thank you for tapping in. Holla at your boys. Let's go.
Skol.